Okay, welcome back, folks. It's time for a kitchen table video. It's been a long time since we've done that, but we need some room to stretch out today because I want to have a look at this dude. This is the Lyman Borecam digital Borescope. These have been around a while. I think they came out about 3 years ago, and I've come close to buying one on multiple occasions, but I just never pulled the trigger. Well, a few weeks back, one of my supporters over on Patreon sent me a message saying, hey man, I want to buy you a Lyman Borecam. So that's where this comes from. Thank you very much, Jonathan. He thought some Borescope pictures might work well in some of my videos, and I think he's right. I think this is going to be a really good tool for us. So I bought this guy off of Amazon for, I think it was $182 and some change. They've come down in price, I think. I think they used to be up near $300, but the price is getting a lot more reasonable. So I was able to pick it up for 180 bucks. Of course, I'll have links down in the description where you can go check it out. Well, you might see back there, I've pulled out 4 different barrels that I want to look at with this guy. So before we get to that, let's open this dude up real quick. Now, I warn you ahead of time, I'm going to have a whole lot of negative things to say about this guy, but I should say that there's nothing else in this price class. It has no competition. So regardless of the negatives I'm going to be pointing out here, it's still really the best option available to us without spending between what, $600, $700 or $1,000 on one of those, was it Hawkeye, that's the brand I was thinking. So it's a huge step up in price to that next level. I'll tell you another thing I do have today though. I've got this little guy, which this is a little $10 or $12 endoscope off of Amazon. So I'm going to show you some pictures from this guy, but I'll tell you up front, don't really get your hopes up. This is certainly no replacement for this, but this should be a good opportunity to show some features that I really wish this guy had. I guess we can start off with it. The first problem is the box, right? It doesn't come with any sort of carrying case or anything. So this box is the permanent storage spot for this guy. Well, it's just standard cardboard. And I think over a matter of a couple of years, the cardboard's going to fall apart and we're going to have duct tape reinforcements and all of that sort of stuff. I wish they would take a page out of Lee's book. Lee ships a lot of their stuff in really, really nice cardboard boxes that are very durable for long-term storage. So I kind of wish this came in maybe a little more rigid box. So the most important part is the magic wand here with the camera. Comes with a nice little cap for covering up the end. It does have a 90-degree mirror, which mine's actually in there a little bit crooked, which will come into play whenever we're taking pictures. You can see on this side, the mirror part comes all the way down to the outer sheath, but then on this side, there's some that's showing. And what that means is that the mirror is a little bit crooked, and when you're running it down the barrel, it's not taking a picture exactly where you think it might. It's a little bit off to this side. I've thought about maybe trying to grab a hold of this guy with some pliers and twist it around a little bit to straighten it up, but I don't want to damage it. It's not a huge deal. You guys will see once we start taking some pictures. The shaft is 20 inches long, so a lot of your longer barrels, you'll need to probe from the front and the back. It's got this little guy that slides up and down, which I assume would help you, test it at an exact depth if you wanted, maybe protect your crown a little bit. I don't know, man. See down here at the end, it is marked lens and is reasonably substantial. You can get a hold of it. So it fits nicely in the hand. Now, this is one of the dumbest things. If you look down here at the end, it looks like a rubberized strain relief, right? You've seen these on devices. Nope, this is hard plastic. It doesn't bend at all. So where this could have been a nice flexible rubberized strain relief here for your cable, it's not at all. So right here at the end of this guy is going to be a pinch point, and that cable is going to possibly fray there. So even if it's just a little bit of electrical tape or something, I think I'm going to put a little additional strain relief here on the end of the wand. That's just so stupid. It's like they designed it properly, but when it got down to the people who were choosing the actual materials, they just made it out of the wrong stuff, man. Hard plastic that looks like strain relief. That's crazy. Now the cable of the wand does have a micro USB connector here, and it looks like the cord is 6 feet long. All right, next up is kind of the brains of the operation. This is the head unit where our viewfinder is, and we'll see what's going on. Very simple to operate with just a couple buttons. Micro USB on one side, which goes out to our camera, And then I guess, what is that? A mini USB that goes out to power. So with this dude, you got power coming in, out to your camera, and you also have a slot on the side for an SD card, which I need to go get the SD card that came with this guy. Okay, I found it. They give you a 128 megabyte SD card. I can't believe they're still able to source SD cards that are this small. But yeah, just a very generic, very, very small SD card. Slides right into the side of that guy. Also comes with a card reader. Got slots here for different size memory cards. Our 128 megabyte card slides in here somewhere. Yeah, that, just like that. And then you can plug it into your computer if you don't have a native slot to where you can just insert the card directly. It comes with some cleaning liquid and Q-tips for cleaning our little mirror. The problem I found is that the Q-tips don't really fit down in there. Dust and stuff shows up on the screen very clearly, so it's important to get this guy clean, but the Q-tips I've found to be just about 100% useless. But it was a nice gesture for him to include them, I guess. Of course, we get an assembly and operation instructions manual, and we get a box full of power adapters for people who live in weird parts of the world that use weird plugs. I think it has everybody covered in there. Oh, and I think I forgot to mention, it comes with a power adapter and another 6-foot cable, I believe, to power the unit. One good thing about it is USB power. So since I don't have super handy electricity here at the kitchen table, I pulled out a power pack, and we're going to use this to run this guy. So that guy plugs in there. This guy plugs in here. Our memory card goes in right there, and we are ready to rock. All right, so glare is going to be our enemy here. Right up here on the top is an on-off button. So if we click that guy, we can immediately start seeing a picture. The up and down arrows control the intensity of the light. So this is on bright, a little less bright, a little less bright, and then off. The instructions say that the best performance will be found on the highest setting. So as you can see, there's a lot of dust and junk on the screen. That's what I need to clean off really quick. So I'm just going to use a patch to just kind of wipe out the crevice there. It's always a good idea to wipe your crevices. And now there aren't any, yeah, I guess there are still a couple dust spots. Okay, so I got some of the dust moved, but you can still see there's quite a bit left. Whatever. So let's bring a barrel into the picture. This first one here is our new 6.5 Creedmoor barrel from Ballistic Advantage that we're going to use in the AR-10. So this is a brand new barrel, never been shot, and I ran a couple patches through it to get rid of the dust. So let's probe this guy a little. All right, so the little end goes in the big hole, and what we see here is a picture of our rifling. Let me back it up. Let's try and find the start of the rifling. There it is right there. So that's where the end of our chamber starts. And here's the lead and into the rifling. Now, when you find a spot you want to look at, you really need to move the camera up against it as close as you can. Like here, I'm up against it. I can go back to the other end of the side of the barrel, and it's just not quite in focus. But if I move the wand very, very close, that's where it wants to focus. So that won't be much of a problem in a 20 or a 22 caliber barrel. But as you get up to 6.5 like this guy is, or 30 caliber or even bigger, the positioning of the tip and how far away the camera is to the actual spot you're looking at is going to make a big difference. All right, so new barrel, nothing remarkable here. Let me see if I can find the gas port. I found the best way to find the gas port so far is to get an eyeball on it and then just push the thingy down there until you see the light. There we go. Did you see the light? Once we've got it where I can see the light through the hole, we go back to the display and then hunt around a little bit for it. Thought I had it a second ago. Where'd you go? There it is. All right, there it is. And now this is going to show a little bit of the frustration I was talking about earlier about how my mirror isn't straight. I can't quite get lined up for a direct on shot because as I move the tip toward the gas port, it's looking a little bit to the side. Let me see if I can get lined up as best I can. Yep, that's about as good as it gets. Now, if we wanted to save this picture to our memory card, the capture button down here is the one that does it. And let's get lined up and try and get the light looking right. And I'm going to hit the capture button right now. There we go. That little square in the middle is all you get as confirmation that you have taken a picture. All right, and then if I go a little bit further, we can look at the crown. This is the end of our barrel. Looking at the crown. All right, so now that you've seen kind of what it shows, let's make a couple observations. For one, our screen resolution is awful. The picture output, let me look in the manual here. The picture output is 320 by 240 pixels. I would assume the screen here is probably the same. Try and zoom in here on the little SD symbol. You can see the individual pixels. So just a very low resolution screen. Is it good enough to see what's going on in your barrel? I guess. Like the picture we took of the gas port, let me zoom it in to where it fits on the screen. I don't know if that's going to be pixelized or not, because if you look at it at its normal size in one of my videos, I mean, it's itty bitty, right? So that explains this little 128 megabyte memory card. It's no wonder they only use 128 megabytes. This is enough to hold, the manual says 3,600 of those poor quality pictures. Now, another thing I should say about the screen, it is extremely light. It weighs nothing. I have zero confidence that this unit would survive a drop off of a workbench. A concrete floor or something like that, this guy would just probably bust into a million pieces. I mean, it's the same build quality and materials that you see out of, you know, cheap electronic toys. That's what it feels like. Super low resolution screen, simple buttons, no fit and finish, cheap feeling. It feels like a little toy. So I seriously question the durability of this guy. So the next barrel I want to look at really quick is my Faxon 6.5 Grindle barrel. This guy only has a couple hundred rounds through it so far, so it is still pretty new. All right, so my original plan was to like set up a second camera to view this guy, but I'm just going to hold it in my hand here. This is working out halfway decent. All right, there's the end of the neck. There's the shoulder. Okay, so right now I'm in the chamber, moving up to, there's the shoulder. We're up to the neck, and then there is the end of the neck and the start of the barrel itself. Now these barrels are all going to be clean. This barrel was also cleaned with my normal methods, which is, you know, patches with Hoppe's number 9 and occasionally a bronze brush. I did brush all of these barrels before this video here. There we go. So that's the start of the rifling here. I don't see anything weird going on. Nothing really much to see here. All right, that took some hunting, but I think I finally found the gas port. Now to the right would be the chamber, and then down this way would be to the muzzle. On that trailing edge there, it does seem to maybe be a little bit of wear, but nothing crazy. Overall, this barrel seems very boring. It's just in good shape, no major fouling that I can see, no major wear that I can see. So let's move on to the next barrel. Okay, next is going to be my White Oak Armament 223 barrel. This guy has somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 rounds on it, I believe. So this guy should be a little bit more interesting to see. Okay, so we're in the chamber, and I think that is the neck. Yep, into the neck and start of the rifling. Now the problem so far, I'm brand new to Borescoping. So a couple things I've always heard of that I've been looking out for is carbon fouling, like major carbon fouling, basically at the end of the neck, at the very end of the chamber, and also fire cracking, like a, you know, charcoal fire cracked sort of look. And I'm thinking there might be just a touch here on this leading edge. Let's go all the way around it and see if we spot anything major. All right, so it all looks pretty normal to me, I guess. If you guys are spotting anything that I'm not, please let me know. See if I can get the wand right up close to it so it gets the best focus. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. Then if we go forward to our rifling, the rifling basically starts right at the beginning of the barrel, right at the end of the chamber. Not much lead there, and then we are into rifling. Now, one thing I've noticed in all of the barrels is right in the middle of a groove, right? So up here is a land, down here is a land, and then this is the middle of the groove. All of them show a significant amount more wear right there in the middle than they do on the edges. So I guess the bullet rides the center of that groove. I don't know, I just found that interesting. So just kind of following one of the lands down. I don't see any fouling problems in this barrel. The color is kind of crap. Now it's worse through, being filmed through this camera than it is in real life. I can see, like right here, I do see a little bit of copper colored streaks that I'm spotting on the monitor itself, but I'm not really picking it up in the viewfinder. Okay, so here's the crown. All the way down at the end. What was that down there? Yeah, there's a little spot. That stripe does look, it looks black on the viewfinder and in the monitor, so I think that's carbon. There's another nice little streak of black junk. See if I can get close to that. Focus in on it just a little bit better. And not really. Okay, let's see if we can find that gas port. Hey, there it is. All right, there's our gas port. So this is the leading edge. The chamber is to the right and the muzzle is to the left. See, quite a bit more erosion there on the trailing side. So that's kind of interesting. I'll tell you what, let's take another snapshot of this guy. So I've got snapshots of all three gas ports. Let me see if I can put them up on the screen there. It does seem to me like there does seem to be some progressive erosion on the muzzle side. But none of these cause me any alarm. And it does seem like my regular cleaning regimen is doing a good job. I'm pretty happy with this. Don't really see any buildup in any of the three barrels we've seen so far. Well, one of them's brand new, so you'd hope that one would be okay. But maybe some ever so slight fire cracking right there at the leading edge of the barrel, but otherwise it looks just fine. So let's look at one more barrel. All right, so the last one I want to look at here is my 6.5 Creedmoor Thompson Center Compass. This is an extremely cheap gun, like a $200 gun, and it's got about 1,000 rounds on it. I think we're actually right at 900 rounds through this guy. All right, there's some rifling, so let's back up and look at this leading edge. There we go. So that's the mouth of the chamber, right? That's where our chamber ends, and then this is the beginning of the lead, and now this is the fire cracking I was talking about. Now keep in mind, this is an awesome shooting gun. This gun shoots outstanding. But it does look like there's some significant fire cracking there at the beginning. And it also looks like there's a lot of carbon, kind of a carbon ring here at the end of the neck. I think this is very common, and a lot of people will get a brush with some JB bore paste and spin it around, and it takes care of that no problem. So definitely want to do that, but I don't think there's much we're going to be able to do about the fire cracking, unless you guys think that might be a buildup of carbon or something. I don't know. So let's move forward. There's the start of our rifling. Another thing you'll immediately notice is all of this, these tool marks. So this barrel is definitely not as polished as the previous three. All right, going a little bit farther down the barrel, just kind of having a look around here. Not seeing a whole lot. I am picking up a little bit of copper with the naked eye in the viewfinder, or in the screen that's not really showing up on the viewfinder. So a bit of carbon here and there, but, and like I called out in that previous video, that is a land. That is a land, and then this is the bottom of the groove. You can see where, I guess, the bullet rides down the middle of that groove there. But yeah, overall not seeing a whole lot. And obviously this gun being a bolt gun doesn't have a gas port. But I would say my initial takeaways here with this barrel are fire cracking that we'll need to keep an eye on, and a carbon ring that I need to get taken care of with some JB bore paste. Now this barrel's too long for me to reach the crown, so let me flip it around. All right, here's our crown. Looking from the muzzle end. I don't really see anything exciting going on there. Now down at this end, there do seem to be more copper streaks than I saw down in any of the other barrels. Yep, hard to spot on the video, but that right there is looking awfully coppery. Yeah, and here at the muzzle end, you can also see the same tooling marks, where this barrel just didn't quite start off life as smooth as those other guys. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much how it operates. Like I say, the up and down arrows turn the brightness down, but you can't really tell a whole lot until it goes off. And then there you are. I've just been leaving it on high. The mode button has got two functions. You can just click it once. You can format your memory card, or you can choose language, and your only choice is English. So yeah, you can also press and hold mode, and it shows you the previous photos you've taken. So there's number 1, or no, that's number 3. Let's go back to number 1. There's number 1, that was the new barrel, the 6.5 Grindle, and then the 223. And it looks like you can delete them or show thumbnails. Let's have a look at the thumbnail view. There we go. That's probably the right button. Show thumbnails, okay. There we go, so that's a thumbnail view. And the on-off button, that's really all you get here from your little head unit. Now I want to wrap this up by having a quick look at this little Amazon $10 endoscope. Just a basic little camera, and this does fit down a 22 barrel. So the question would be, all right, we know this Thompson Center compass has got fire cracking in front of the chamber. Can we see that with our $10 Amazon camera? So let's kind of feed that guy in there just a little bit. So this guy just connects to our phone. And let's see, I want that app right there. All right, so there we go. Now this app is garbage. It's full of ads that you can't get rid of. But this camera does have a light as well, and you control the light. There's a little scroll wheel on the side of this dude that allows you to turn the intensity up and down on the little light. So I'm going to leave it all the way up. I'm going to feed this guy into the chamber. Now the good part about this is I don't have to hold up a stupid screen in front of you. I can just take a video right here on my phone. All right, now let's take a really quick trip down the bore. Now with this guy, much better colors. You can see the copper, but the problem is that it just doesn't focus close enough. Everything is totally out of focus. And if we back it up here to the front, there we go. We kind of got a pretty good look there, but it's all just completely out of focus. And there's no way to really see that fire cracking or pick up on the fact that there is any problem whatsoever here. Now that's not to say this camera is not incredibly useful. I mean, just look at, here's some pictures of inside the action. For inspection work, it's worth having one of these guys around for 10 bucks. No doubt about it. Even if it's not the perfect tool for actually scoping your bore, it's still a good way to get a look at some pretty cool stuff. Now the Amazon kit does include, yeah, there it is, like a little 90-degree mirror. Yeah, a little 90-degree mirror that just screws on. But it still does not focus on things up close. You're still only going to get a look at stuff that's an inch or inch and a half or so away. So this just isn't really any good for borescoping. And also, this is a little bit bigger. Yeah, you can see this cap makes the diameter a little bit bigger. So with the 90-degree mirror on, it does fit down a 6.5 millimeter barrel, but it does not fit down a 22 any longer. Where without this guy does fit down a 22 caliber. Now, another funny thing is earlier I was complaining about the cardboard box used by Lyman. This little thing comes in an extremely sturdy little box. Almost feels like a cigar box. So that's nice. All right, this was supposed to be a quick video, so let's wrap it up here. Put our little cap on our camera wand thingy. I like the wand. It feels well made. Like I'd mentioned, it's nicely sized. It fits in your hand well. Easy enough to manipulate. I hate the fact that it doesn't really have proper strain relief for the cable, but otherwise, this part is good. The little head unit, the little display unit, I already mentioned, it's a joke. So like I mentioned, this product has been out for about 3 years. So hopefully it'll be due for an update before too much longer. And I'm hoping the next generation, they will not give us a viewer like this. Extremely low resolution, very poor picture quality, very tiny storage. Not that it needs, like I say, the pictures are so small and so low resolution that you don't even really need any more storage than that. But hopefully the next generation doesn't have one of these at all. Hopefully they understand that we all have extremely high resolution displays with very nice battery life in our pocket. We can take pictures or we can record video, and we've got lots of storage. Or if you want to use a tablet for an even bigger view, you can do that. 320 by 240 pixels in 2018 is just not getting it done. So that kind of brings me back to this little thing. Now this right here, our $10 Amazon camera with a camera on one end, a micro USB on the other. If we look at our Lyman wand, camera on one end, micro USB on the other. So I was really hoping, you never know, man. Maybe there's drivers for this thing. I've tried connecting it directly and can't get anything to recognize it as a camera. You know, the phone just doesn't see it as a camera. And that's unfortunate because that's really what I want. I want a camera that shoots 90 degrees like this one. Its focus point is extremely close like this one, but it has the features and usability of this guy. Like, you know, that's what I would love to do, would be to take all of my barrels right now and just take a video of the whole barrel. Just like work the wand really slow and just take a nice video, high resolution video of the entire barrel for all of my barrels. And then I could come back later, maybe I have a problem, or if I spot a problem, I could go back to the original videos and see if it was there before or whatever. With this setup, it would take forever to map out entire barrels, one picture capture at a time. Now, if we swing this thing all the way back around and go back to my original point of there's nothing in this price range, like I mentioned, $180 is what I paid. There's nothing else in this price range that does any better. So I'm happy to have the Lyman Borecam. And I think it's going to be a useful tool for us moving forward. However, I'm looking forward to that Lyman Borecam 2 that maybe addresses some of the shortcomings of this guy. Mainly this little thing. So I think that's about it, folks. Thanks for joining me. I'll have links down in the description where you can pick this guy up on Amazon. I'll also have links for this little guy on Amazon as well. It's so cheap, you might as well have one. So I'll link it down in the description as well. So that's it for today. The next videos are going to be our AR-10 build. So I hope you'll come back for that, and I will see you guys next time.